Finally, Taylor Swift is going back on tour. The new Avatar trailer breaks the internet. Daniel Radcliffe speaks out against Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, and Matthew Perry is coming clean.
It's all coming up right now on The Take.
Hey everyone, and welcome to The Take. I'm Elizabeth Wagmeister.
And I'm Clayton Davis, and we're here to give you our take on some of the week's biggest stories. Like in the floral dress today, it's November, it's a good week, a lot of news.
A lot of news. You actually followed fall fashion with your burgundy blazer. I'm in florals, which isn't correct.
We have to bring some brightness to the world.
We do. But you know who else is bringing brightness to the world? Is Taylor Swift. So let's talk about her. It is Taylor Swift's world, and we are all just living in it. This week, she has broken what seems like record upon record, and she announced her next tour, which is going to be her first tour in 5 years. I know that I'm excited. I know a lot of the Swifties are excited. Clayton, are you a Swiftie?
I am a Swiftie. I'm a big fan of Taylor Swift. It's going to be a good time.
Okay.
I've never been to a concert of hers. I'm guessing it's going to be sold out, maybe?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
She is incredible live. I've seen her once, and she's just as good as you would think. You're saying it's probably going to be sold out. I tend to agree because if her record sales are any indication, she really is just breaking her own record. So this week, Taylor Swift had 10 of the top 10 in the Billboard Hot 100. That is the first time that any artist has done that. Also, her new album, Midnight, by the way, we have not discussed which album that we're talking about. So Midnight, which everybody is loving, sold over 1 million copies in its first week. This is the first time that any artist has done that since who? Taylor Swift with Reputation in 2018. And this tour that I am mentioning, it's called the Eras Tour. It's going to be starting in the US, kicking off in March 2023, going through the summer. This is her first tour in 5 years. And the reason why it's called Eras is because it's going to go through the different eras of her career. So she has had 4 albums since her last tour. She was supposed to go on tour for Lover in 2020, but because of the pandemic, that was obviously postponed. So we're getting a lot of Taylor.
So to add to that, her year can get even better because she's also in the Oscar race in 2 spots. She has her short, All Too Well, with Sadie Sink, which we've all seen and loved. She could get nominated for that, and she has an original song from Where the Crawdads Sing. So maybe some Oscar noms, some Grammys. She might just get a bunch of trophies this year.
I mean, Taylor Swift Oscar winner, that has a great ring to it.
Yeah.
And by the way, her good friend, Selena Gomez, she is premiering her documentary, My Mind and Me, on Apple TV+. And this week, she spoke to our very own Mark Malkin, and he asked her about new music. And she said probably coming next year, maybe she would go on tour too. So it's not just Taylor, it's Selena. We're hoping that we get some new music and a new tour. I love both of them.
We'll take it.
All right, well, let's move on to some other news. This week, Paramount and Les Moonves reached a settlement with the state of New York relating to the fallout of the sexual misconduct allegations that led to the ouster of CBS chief Les Moonves in 2018. Now, we remember, as part of the Me Too movement, one of the biggest stories relating to an entertainment executive was Les Moonves, the chief of CBS, one of the biggest executives in Hollywood history, responsible for tons of hits over the years on CBS. He was ousted after a series of misconduct allegations came forth. Well, this week, now after an investigation from the New York Attorney General, Paramount is ordered to pay $22 million to shareholders, and Les Moonves has to pay $2.5 million himself to shareholders. What this investigation uncovered is that there was essentially a cover-up to protect the stock of CBS. They wanted to cover up these allegations. This investigation says that CBS executives were aware, they had full awareness of these allegations against Les Moonves, but because they were worried about how it would impact their stock, they covered it all up. Now, to add even more fuel to the fire, the LAPD is investigating a former police captain who allegedly tipped off Les Moonves to say, I know these allegations are coming, how can we hide it from the press? So what this signals to me is not just how people in power were able to really court favors from authorities, but also how 5 years after the Me Too movement, we're still seeing a lot of fallout and a lot of tentacles. You know, with Les Moonves, we're seeing this settlement now. In the courts right now, we're seeing Harvey Weinstein, Danny Masterson. So the fight still keeps continuing.
And this is what it highlights. Again, we've said this many times on this show, written about it ad nauseum at this point. A monster is a monster because he's allowed to be a monster. So you have someone in power staying in power because there are people who enable him, who help him stay in power. And again, this is all alleged. We don't know for certain if he was tipped off. It was important to say that. But this is a common occurrence. We're seeing it in the Harvey Weinstein trial. We're seeing it in Danny Masterson trial. And we'll continue to see it as more cases hopefully get their day in court, because there still are a lot of bad actors, bad players out there that haven't had their reckoning yet, and that day needs to come pretty soon.
You're absolutely right that no one person acts alone. There
Yeah.
is often not just a pattern of behavior, but also a web of enablers, and that's what this investigation has seemed to uncover. I just want to read one quote from the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, who said something very powerful in her statement. CBS and Leslie Moonves' attempts to silence victims, lie to the public, and mislead investors can only be described as reprehensible. That is just part of the New York Attorney General's statement. And by the way, this is the same woman who led the investigation into former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo when there were 11 allegations of sexual misconduct against him.
Moving on to some more entertainment news. Matthew Perry, the alum of Friends, the NBC hit sitcom from the 90s. He is doing his book tour for his new memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. In it, he details decades of addiction with drug and alcohol, also speaking about the one friend, Jennifer Aniston, who played Rachel Green on the hit sitcom, who reached out to him during that time. He goes into such amazing detail about his battle with addiction. Also talking about all the surgeries. He's had 14 up until this point. His failure to find love in this life that, people assume he's a millionaire. He's should be having the best life possible. People also criticized him because in the book, he goes after Keanu Reeves, saying, I'm paraphrasing here, but why are people like River Phoenix and Chris Farley dead while Keanu Reeves is still alive? And it didn't sit well with. Keanu Reeves has struggled a lot after the death of River Phoenix, also after the death of his own girlfriend, all that took place during that time period. Matthew Perry did issue an apology, though, recognizing that it probably wasn't the best thing to say. But yeah, that's one thing that took focus off what the book is really about, and that's the battle with addiction.
Absolutely, and I really give him credit because no matter how famous you are, no matter how wealthy you are, addiction can touch anyone. It's an illness that does not stop for socioeconomic status or because you are a celebrity. And I think by Matthew Perry, who's one of the most beloved actors from one of the most beloved characters in television history, he really is going to reach so many people. And what really struck me is you would never think on the face of it that Chandler Bing behind the scenes was suffering from this, and he managed to get through all of these seasons. And in the book he says that during the run of Friends he was using drugs and he was on pills, and I think it's incredible to see that he was able to get through work and show up every day, and that just shows that how secret this illness can be. So I'm really glad that he is coming out, and I hope that in addition to helping others, that it's also cathartic for him.
In his interview with Diane Sawyer, he details his time during Friends, and you can see his battles through the weight gain and weight loss. When he's putting on weight, he's drinking alcohol. When he's really skinny, it's because he's using pills. And now it's hard to rewatch some of those episodes to know that he's struggling so much. But we wish him the best, and anyone battling addiction, that they can conquer their demons.
Absolutely.
But now on to someone else who is speaking out. Daniel Radcliffe, the star of Harry Potter, doing an open letter talking about J.K. Rowling and all her transphobic comments, saying that trans women are women. It's the first time that the actor has spoken out against the woman who is responsible for launching his career. And it's very, very good to see. Kind of took a long time, and we're glad he did it, and we hope that he keeps speaking out about it in the weeks, months, years to come, because this is a very controversial topic.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing more to add to this other than kudos to Daniel Radcliffe. It's always great when celebrities use their platform, and to hear from the actual Harry Potter from the Harry Potter series speaking out against this is very important.
And the last bit of news, Avatar: The Way of Water releasing its second trailer. Full trailer, we get a look at the world of Pandora. A lot of underwater effects. We see Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana in their motion capture outfits, but also Sigourney Weaver, who is voicing their kid. And we have been wondering for some time how she was fitting back into this world, because, spoiler alert for something that came out 12 years ago, she died. So she's back, but she's voicing the child of the two main characters, and I think that's gonna feel a little weird. But I'm excited for it. It looks like a gajillion dollars, and we'll get 4 more of these, I think, over the next couple of years, allegedly.
And it will make a gajillion dollars.
Yeah.
The trailer blew up the internet this week, and by the way, your spoiler alert is well taken. 12 years ago doesn't count. Nobody come for Mike Clayton for the spoiler alert. Thanks as always for watching us right here on The Take, and we'll be back every Friday.
See you next time.